questioning my mom here at this point because I see the WCW pictures of my dad getting unmasked and they tag me in that, and then I get the side by sides of Eddie and I get tagged in that, and I'm just sitting over here scratching my head like I think I'm gonna do my own DNA test at this point because I don't know what's going on.
Cardiff is obviously the scene where you joined Judgment Day, and man, it's been such a fun ride for me to watch since then. For yourself, right? Like just to kick off with this part of it, has it been really cool, kind of like exploring your character more, right? Getting to more screen time. You're not just wrestling, man. You're like a big fixture of the show, all over it, really. Like the past 9 months I guess it's been exponential in like your kind of growth and exposure, right? Like, how does it feel kind of looking at that period of time now?
Man, it's really cool to see. It's a blessing, especially for me, being able to be a part of such a cool and like just something that fits so well for me, especially the way we all kind of just managed to get along between Rhea, Finn, and Damien and myself, kind of just all really worked out. Especially like you said, being in Cardiff the first night. I wouldn't even consider that the first night that I joined Judgment Day. I think it was just the first night that I realized what had to be done. And then the
Mm.
Judgment Day approached me afterwards, which kind of just like I said, man, it was like a perfect mix. We made it work.
Yeah, and like again, as I say, with the Judgment Day, you've seen you do some hard time, man. We've seen the segments as well where you've gone and the interactions you have with your father and your mum. How has that been too? Like getting to really dive into that aspect of wrestling, and I guess tell your story in a different way than just between the ropes. Because I guess when you're trying to break into the wrestling business, I guess you're probably thinking, again, I'm just assuming here, much more about the wrestling aspect, right? Getting that down. And then now that you're in the WWE and everything's so much grander, and you've been doing it as such a like there's such an important story, right, that people are really flocking to.
Yeah, it's honestly been so crazy, especially because like there's just so much that I can do with my character from, starting off with the Judgment Day at first. I was just a guy who was tired of being with my dad, who didn't listen to me. Now I got mommy who's with me. She's backing me up, telling me what I want to hear. And then I go and do some hard time. And it's like it changes my whole demeanor and who I am and how I carry myself and how my crew backs me up. And there's just so many things that we can go on from there and just continue to play with this prison Dom or even just evil Dom character that makes it so much fun.
You mentioned Rhea there. I mean, again, I've always been a huge Rhea fan. She's been on a tear heading into WrestleMania as well. Like so much momentum behind her. That chemistry to me has just got stronger and stronger and stronger between you two. That's like the magic ingredient almost of the Judgment Day for me. Um, what was it like for you, man? Like, was it kind of instant? I mean, you're kind of the same age and stuff. Like, it seems like you get on great. It looks like you're having fun.
Yeah, man, she's the best. She's been super helpful to everything that I've done, especially trying to help me understand, everyone has been, but especially with her, because like you said, our connection just kind of we're the same age, it kind of just worked. And it just helped that we got along, we got along, we became friends, and it's like, let's just go out there and have some fun. And that's what we do. We literally go out there and we have fun.
The other thing I want to ask about that is, obviously there's your father and you've had the legendary kind of connection with Edge. You've been working a lot opposite him. What about Finn before you kind of partnered up for the Judgment Day? I know you was maybe on the opposite side, but had you had much interaction with Finn? Did you know him that well before this all kind of got going?
So I would talk to him. It was very formal. And I felt like we were friends, but after everything that went down and then joining the Judgment Day, I've literally have only gotten closer in not only in ring but outside of the ring with every member of the Judgment Day. Not only Rhea, but Priest and Finn as well. If we're all riding together, we all hang
Mm.
out together, we all go eat afterwards. It's like we're literally a family. Like we were stuck at the airport before going to Canada last week, and it was all four of us together just hanging out because it just works, man. I don't know how I don't know how it happened, but a melting pot of an Irishman, a Puerto Rican, an Australian, and a Mexican just worked.
Yeah, that's class. That's class. You mentioned Prison Dom earlier as well. I think it's fair to say everybody has found that so wildly entertaining. Not to call your despair of being in jail entertaining, John, but just that kind of progression in your character, man, has been so good. Who I guess like who brought that to the table? I'd love to know like who worked with you really closely on those skits.
Um, there's a writer by the name of Rob who helps out with a lot of our stuff, and I feel like it's just been a team effort with everyone, with Rob, the creative team, Rhea, myself. And I don't even know how it got thrown out there. I feel like it was almost just like a joke from my
Yeah.
end where I kind of just threw out like this prison mic stuff. And Finn had actually gotten like memes about it earlier because he came out with a bandana and everyone was comparing him to Prison Mike. But then I
Mm.
kind of just threw it out there as a joke. And then the next thing we're doing is this we're filming me kind of like hardened out of jail. And I'm like, all right, cool, man, let's do it. I'm not blinking on this. We're doing it. Prison Dom all the way.
Yeah, because I thought you nailed that promo. You know, you did to camera and you got the toothpick in. You're like, "Mummy, I'm coming home soon" and stuff. That was the one, man, where I was sold and thought it was hilarious. But again, as we say, like those elements and all of that coming together. What does your dad think, man? I know you're on opposite sides of the track, but I reckon there's a part deep down where Ray thinks, look at him flying on his own.
And at this point, I don't care what he thinks. But I mean, he has to, right? I mean, I'm not even 3 years in, and I feel like my growth has just been pretty crazy as far as I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm very blessed, and I understand that. But I also understand that I don't need the green light from my dad. I get the
Mm.
green light from the Judgment Day fan who's been gaslighting me and hyping me up and literally building me up to what I can be. So I'm gonna give my credit to them.
With the changeover, so obviously Vince McMahon kind of gave you the chance, right? Like you, Seth Rollins, SummerSlam, everyone remembers that. Incredible stuff. We had the change last year, Triple H coming in. Obviously, you didn't pass through NXT, but you're going to have been well aware of Triple H before this. How has that transition been for you? Because you're on this career run now, Clash the Castle. It kind of has been under Triple H's auspice. Has he played like a big role in your growth? Would you say? And is he kind of hands on with the Judgment Day? How's that all been, man?
Um, it's all kind of for me. It's very different because I like to let everyone know that I've known everyone in the back for 20 plus years now.
Yeah, ever.
And it's honestly pretty crazy. So my relationship with Vince and Triple H is I feel like different than everybody else's just because I've known them since I was a kid. So
Mm.
they've seen this little kid running around stealing BWO tricycles, and now he's out there getting booed out of the arenas. And I just I think it's been really cool just to see that transition going from Vince to Triple H. And honestly, it's all we don't really have a big part of what we do as far as like creatively in the back. We're kind of told little things here and there, but honestly, it's all been really good and really fun. So we'll see how it goes.
Are you going to pull an Eddie Guerrero card on your dad at some point? Are we going to acknowledge this story from yesteryear?
I don't know. A lot of people keep tagging me because of this mullet that I got going on,
Yeah, it's
because
a
of this
great mullet, by the
whole
way.
oh, thank you. Yeah. Because of Eddie, but I don't know, man. I haven't talked to my mom, but I've sent her a couple text messages because I've seen some of these side by sides and they're pretty crazy.
Pretty undeniable, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm questioning my mom here at this point because I see the WCW pictures of my dad getting unmasked and they tag me in that, and then I get the side by sides of Eddie and I get tagged in that, and I'm just sitting over here scratching my head like I think I'm gonna do my own DNA test at this point because I don't know what's going on.
yeah, that's sensational, man. But you and Ray have got to have a ladder match at SummerSlam or something. There needs to be some homage. Speaking of which, man, that's what the match everybody wants to see now, right? You say you don't care what your dad thinks. Do you want to get in the ring with him though? Like, I think we've spoken in years gone by where you two have said maybe under the right circumstances. Obviously, that's off the table for Ray now. But for you, what about on the grandest stage of all, showing your dad? You know what I mean? That'd be the ultimate place to prove a point, would it not?
Yeah, and I know I said in the past I I did interviews in the past and I always said that I never wanted to wrestle my dad just because what he's done for me, this and that. And yeah, I get that, but I don't think he wants to get in there with me, to be honest. I think
Mm,
it's gotten to the point where I've shown that I'm willing to do what it takes to take him out and to prove that once again, I'm the only Mysterio that matters in this business at the end of the day. He's done, like Damien said, he's washed, and I just really don't think that he wants to be in there with me. Not only because I don't think he has the balls to, but just more of the fact that he understands that he can't hang in there with me. So I think it's
mm.
at the end of the day, it's on him. Like I said, I've proved my point. I've been in there, provoked him multiple times, but he's not taking the bait. So I don't see it happening. But if it does, it's gonna be on him.
You know, it gives me Kane and Undertaker vibes. Like, you being in the Kane role, where Undertaker was like, you know what, I'm not gonna, my flesh and blood, we're not gonna do this, and that's what Ray has kind of seemed like. But then eventually Undertaker caved. We all know that. Do you think your dad will ever submit?
I'll tell you how it's a little bit different than the Kane and Undertaker, because Undertaker, at the end of the day, he taught his brother a lesson, right? That's his brother, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm his son, right? I'm his son. I don't see him putting hands on me. Like that's
Mm,
the thing. I don't see like he was more than happy to do it when I was a kid, right? To discipline me or whatnot. But now as an adult, now that I'm what 5, 6 inches taller than him, he's not willing to reciprocate that love anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think he has the balls to lay his hands on me.
I hope he finds them, man. I'd like to see you two on the grandest stage. Let me say that for the record. On you two, I know we haven't got that much longer left, but on you two in your tag title win, right back a couple of years ago now, it always kind of bothered me a little bit, man. Like it wasn't at Mania. You went for it. I believe it was the SmackDown before Mania, right? You had the match for it, and then you ended up winning them at Backlash. Like, was that always like? Was there never a plan for you to be on Mania that year, or like? I just felt like it could have been bigger, man. Um, and then you lost it to the Usos. You still have it, so there's no shame in that. But I just mean, like, at the time, was there any confusion about where it was going to be placed, or like what you guys were trying to do?
Um, a little bit of confusion on what was going to go on. But again, I also understood the position that we were being put in because of where I was coming from. I'm a couple months into this business, and there's this pressure of being a tag team champion with your dad, who's a legendary wrestler, right? So then it's like they, I feel like in the head of WWE, it's like, do we really want to do this, or is like almost like doubt from their end on me, which is totally understandable because again I'm barely even not even 3 years into this, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was just a lot of back and forth on if we really wanted to do it or if they wanted to do it. And at the end of the day, it was done at WrestleMania Backlash, and it was such a hard time too at that point because we were still going on with no fans during the middle of the pandemic. So I think it was just a lot going on, and no one really knew what was going to happen. But I'm just thankful that it happened, man. At the end of the day, we got those titles at like you said at WrestleMania Backlash, and we ended up losing them the following months against the Usos at Money in the Bank actually. So you know
Mm.
what? It is what it is, and I'm sure I'll get rerun with someone from the Judgment Day, whether it's Priest, whether it's Finn, or hell, maybe even Rhea.
Could be, man. We've seen the damage she can deal. I think I was just speaking selfishly, man, because it's just a great moment, right? And you think, oh, if you're gonna do it, Mania was right there, and it would have been great. Like you just know the fans would have gone mad for that. So maybe it's just me as the fan speaking a bit selfishly. I don't know. I did want to say one other thing though, with in relation to Triple H earlier. Obviously, as you came in, he was still kind of presiding over NXT, and you've never had to go there on TV anyway. You know, I'm sure you go to Performance Center and things like that. Never spoken about at any point. Triple H never, that idea never floated around.
Not that I remember, man. It was always brought up, so that's how I like in my head and how everything was going to play out. That's how I was starting off, right? Um, Going down, not even doing NXT TV, just going down to the Performance Center and getting ready for whatever it is they were preparing me for. But after my or as we were discussing my match for SummerSlam, it was said that after that match I would go down to NXT or the PC, but that it just never happened. So
Mm.
then I never really asked, and then it wasn't brought up again. So I didn't bring
Just roll
I
with
didn't
that.
bring it back up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're riding this roller coaster, man.
All right, final one for me to close on then. WrestleMania. What's Dominik Mysterio going to be doing? Tell me.
Man, I think at this year's WrestleMania, you could definitely see Dom Mysterio in mommy's corner. I'm gonna have her back, you know. And then I don't know what everyone else in the Judgment Day is doing right now, but as of right now, we're focused on Rhea and Rhea bringing that title back home. So, and then whatever Finn and Priest or myself have, or we don't even know what we're getting into at this point, or if it's hell, if it's my dad, which I don't think he's gonna do it, but we'll see what happens. But I'll definitely be in mommy's corner.
I'll tell you where else I'd like to see you. Up a ladder in the O2 in July. I hope you're coming over for that, big man.
Man, me too. I'm definitely gonna try to qualify for a match to get into that O2 Arena in London, man. And even if Mommy wins the title, I'm gonna be going over with her to SmackDown. So we'll do SmackDown the day before, and then
That's it.
we'll do Money in the Bank.
Listen, all the promotion getting killed in these few minutes. Look at us, eh? Seasoned. Dom, always a pleasure, brother, to always get the chance to speak to you. Again, hopefully I'll see you at Mania this year and we can chop it up again.
Most definitely. Thank you again, Alex.
Cheers, brother.
I plan to take that title all over the world, not just New Japan. It's about to be a global championship. So wherever that championship ends up, whether it's on United States TV, Japan TV, Mexico TV, Germany TV, anywhere all over the world is wherever I choose to make it happen. So whoever has the best bag, whoever writes the best check for Mercedes Moné, that's where I might end up at.